What's up, everybody? Meow, meow, meow. Crap. How do I get it to... Okay. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. It's a little Jimi Hendrix for you. And the reason I'm playing Jimi Hendrix is because today's video is going to be about drugs. I gotta tell you, not having a job is great because I got nothing to do all day but just sit around and fucking do hella drugs. It's awesome. Now, I should clarify for the YouTube community guidelines that I am not encouraging the use of any illicit substance. That is bad. Do not listen to what I say as advice for how to live your life. This is for educational, psychological, and entertainment purposes only. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about my history with drugs and why I would not be able to live without them, honestly. I first started getting into drug use because I had a babysitter who was like Willy Wonka, and he used to bring over all sorts of stuff. And I remember when I was probably around 9 years old, I made a list with my crayons of all the drugs that existed, at least that I knew about, that he told me about. And I would go and cross them off the list. I hung the list up on my refrigerator, and I would cross them off the list every time I tried a new one, because I wanted to try every drug in the whole world. And so that was kind of my life's mission for a long time. I got to, I got to college and I was going crazy. I flunked out of there. In the seminary school, I was fucking blazing it 24/7 and nobody ever caught me. It was awesome. And I would say that probably the drugs that most impacted my life were weed, mushrooms, LSD, ayahuasca, ketamine, heroin, Oxycontin. What was the other one? Meth. Did I say meth? Meth definitely impacted my life in a big way. So, I started to, especially when I got out of seminary school and I was kind of doinking around, teaching every once in a while and trying to do my therapy stuff. And at the same time, I was a very busy guy, so I was trying to at the same time juggle TikTok, making TikToks. I used a lot of performance enhancing stimulants to get the job done. Otherwise, there was no way I was going to be able to do it, right? And that's one of the many reasons why drugs have saved my life, because I was able to kind of use them to just, I don't know, my life got better. Who wants to be sober, right? I mean, I have a couple of friends who are like, drugs ruined my life, and now I have to be sober. And I'm like, you're a loser, okay? Could you imagine what a life that would be like? God. So anyway, long story short, love drugs, and that led to some problems in my relationships, because, for instance, the person I'm dating right now, gosh, should I even say this? I don't even know if I want to tell you guys who it is. Becca is her/their name. Long story, which I'm actually in the process of telling in a separate video series, but, anyway, that's caused a lot of problems between Becca and I, because she just doesn't, she's always been kind of a goody two-shoes, nerdy dork. She used to do a lot of drinking and drugs, and, she got a DUI, and just really took her life down the toilet. And so she's not willing to do any drugs with me ever. And it's really a buzzkill. But I keep telling her, you just have not found the right combination yet. You haven't found the right ones to mix and match. It's kind of like Tetris. Once you figure out which one goes in the hole, then your life, it's like the puzzle is complete of your life. Your brain is a puzzle, and you've got to figure out where the pieces go, right? So, I've been kind of doing a little experiment where this is going to sound really bad, and I'm aware of that, but what I want to assure you is that both of us have agreed to do this in our own way. It's kind of I know her, and I know that she would be okay with this, basically. I have every morning been, now that I think about it, maybe this isn't a very good thing to do or talk about. Well, let's just say that I've been doing a few experiments, and I really think that ultimately they are going to help her. Remember, I am a mental health professional, so that's sort of I know how drugs affect the brain, and so it's kind of like she's my patient, right? And that's all regular psychiatrists and things do, is that they just, they give people drugs and they see what happens. And then if they don't, and then they use that to inform the rest of their decisions. When they do it, it's science. I don't know why everybody freaks out when I do it with people, even though I am a mental health professional, right? Well, yeah, so I was going to talk all about that, but the more that I think about it, the more I'm kind of realizing I probably shouldn't talk about it. Especially, I'm on thin ice right now, especially with that tweet I tweeted this morning. God, I'm so stupid. I don't know why I think these things I just don't think things through. I think, things seem like such a good idea in the moment, and then they sort of balloon out of your control after a certain point, especially when you have an audience. Right? I used to just be able to say whatever the hell I wanted, and now anything that I say, I've got to, care about what, these random jerk-offs think, who have never achieved anything in their whole lives, and yet they're trying to tell me how to live my life. If I ever need advice for how to be a loser who has no friends and a job they hate, and who has never achieved anything and never will, and who hates themselves and is miserable and will likely end up killing themselves, then I'll ask you for your advice, but I don't need it. Okay. I keep trying to make this video in particular, and it keeps completely going off the rails. I don't know what it is about this subject in particular that when I try to talk about it, it really just diverts from my fork in the road, People who subscribe to my Patreon will know that I tried to upload another version of this last night, and it similarly went off the rails. So, I don't know. I just wanted to open a dialogue here, Again, YouTube, fucking listen to me. I am not saying that drugs are good. You should not do what I say in the video. My videos are for entertainment, psychological, educational purposes only, okay? And you need to start thinking about what, maybe I'm talking more to TikTok when I say this, because YouTube hasn't really cared about anything that I've done so far. TikTok and all of the other corporate fucking fascist, conglomerates that try to control our minds need to listen to me when I say this. The only reason you get so freaking, what do you call it when you're skittish, is that you know that you cannot control us and you cannot control the population, but you are so scared of not being able to control us because when we realize that you are full of shit, then it's over for you. So you've got to keep us oppressed, whatever you do. I don't know when I'm pointing to my. I'm not see again, off the rails. All right, I give up. This is the end of this video. If you don't like it, go fuck yourself.